This is the Midland Home Service. We present The Song Carriers.
With my dog and gone through the blooming heather to seek for pastime, I took my way.
The sixth program in the series in which Ewan MacColl introduces the traditional songs and singers of Great Britain and Ireland.
How can I live at the top of the mountain without gold in my pocket? Harmony far to come to. I leave the money go far to please her fancy. Rain on, but the money blue lassie.
Both those singers are Irish, and both of them possess the special skill of being able to ornament or decorate a melody. This skill is an important one, and our appreciation of the folk singer's art depends, to some extent, on our understanding the nature of it. An ornament or decoration is something not absolutely essential to a melody or harmony. It is added by the singer, created by him or her, in order to adorn or embellish the tune, to highlight its salient features, to draw attention to its shape and direction, and sometimes to emphasize certain words in a text which the singer feels are especially important. Some singers like to decorate a tune with several different types of ornament. Others limit themselves to a single type. There are those who decorate almost every syllable, while others choose a particular point in a line and use an identical ornament each time that point is reached. Generally speaking, English and Lowland Scottish singers, at least those we have on record, tend to be rather sparing with their ornaments. This, of course, may be a national characteristic. On the other hand, it may be due to the fact that the singing styles of both nations are, compared, say, with the Irish, greatly decayed. When English and Scots singers do use decorations, they tend to confine themselves to a single type of ornament. Bob Copper of Rottingdean, Sussex, is a case in point. In a beautifully sung version of the Spotted Cow, he starts off in the first verse by adding a simple ornament to the end of the second, fourth, and fifth lines. In the verses which follow, however, he abandons the fourth and fifth line ornaments and confines himself to the terminal decoration of the second line.
One morning in the month of May, as from my cot I stray, just at the dawning of the day, I met with a charming maid. Just at the dawning of the day, I met with a charming maid. Good morning, fair maid, fair weather, said I, and early tell me now. The maid replied, kind sir, she said, I've lost my spotted cow. The maid replied, kind sir, she said, I've lost my spotted cow. No longer weep, no longer mourn, your cow's not lost, my dear. I saw her down in yonder grove. Come, love, and I'll show you where. I saw her down in yonder grove. Come, love, and I'll show you where. Then in the grove we spent our time, and thought it passed too soon. At night we homeward made our way, when brightly shone the moon. At night we homeward made our way, when brightly shone the moon. Next day we went to view the plough, across the flowery dale. We loved and kissed each other there, and love was all our tale. We loved and kissed each other there, and love was all our tale. If I should cross the flowery dale, all for to view the plough, she comes, she calls me, gentle swain, I found my spotted cow. She comes, she calls me, gentle swain, I found my spotted cow.
That particular ornament, the mordant, is made by singing a melody note, interpolating a note immediately above or below it, then returning to the melody note again. It's probably the most common type of ornament in our tradition, and, as in the spotted cow, is commonly used to terminate a line. When it is made to occupy a different position in the melodic line, it often sounds more elaborate than it really is, and sometimes serves as a substitute for a shake. John Taylor of Saxby All Saints, Lincolnshire, used it in this way in the famous recording of Brig Fair. When Taylor made that recording in 1944, he was already an old man, and his decorations are all slowed down, some of them so much so that it is at times difficult to distinguish ornaments from melody notes.
It was on the 5th of August, the weather hot and fair. Unto Brig Fair I did repair, for love I was inclined. I rose up with a lark in the morning, with my heart so full of glee, of thinking there to meet my dear, long time I'd wished to see. I looked over my left shoulder to see whom I could see, and there I spied my own true love come tripping down to me. I took hold of her lily white hand, and merrily was her heart, and now we're met together, I hope we ne'er shall part. For its meeting is a pleasure, and parting is a grief, but an unconscious lover is worse than any thief. The green leaves they shall wither, and the branches they shall die, if ever I prove false to her, to the girl that loves me.
Here is the same song sung by a revival singer, Isla Cameron. Miss Cameron learned the song from John Taylor's record, but her ornamentation is much more elaborate than in the original. In place of the simple mordant, she uses a shake in the middle of the line, and at the end of the second line adds a turn, an ornament of 4 or 5 notes which wind around the principal melody note. In the first verse, this turn is further enhanced by the shake which is added to it. All this, combined with Miss Cameron's habit of swooping up towards the high notes, produces an exciting performance.
It was on the 5th of August, the weather fair and mild, unto Brig Fair I did repair, for love I was inclined. I rose up with a lark in the morning, and merrily sang my heart, expecting there to meet my dear, long time I wished to see. I looked over my left shoulder to see whom I could see, and there I spied my own true love come tripping down to me. I took hold of a lily white hand and merrily sang her heart, for now we are together, I hope we ne'er shall part.
Occasionally, a singer will feel called upon to emphasize or exaggerate the natural curve of a melodic line by making the voice glide gradually from one tone to the next through all the intermediate pitches. Portamento, the Italians call it, and, used properly, it can be an effective form of ornamentation. Jessie Murray of Buckie, Aberdeenshire, uses it with considerable skill when she sings the Boaty Rouse.
We'll make the boat row and go may she speed. We'll make the boat row that wins the bairnies breed. The boaty rows, the boaty rows, the boaty rows farewell. And MacColl maintain the boat a mackerel and a creel. We shot to a line in Largo Bay and fishes we got nine. They're 3 to bail and 3 to fry and 3 to bait the line. The boaty rows, the boaty rows, the boaty rows farewell. And MacColl maintain the boat, the mackerel and the creel. When Sandy, Jock and Janet, they're up and gotten clear, they help to guard the boat row and lighten our care. The boaty rows, the boaty rows, the boaty rows farewell. And MacColl maintain the boat, the mackerel and the creel.
There, the shallow, scooping effect of the vocal line really suits the song. Portamento can, however, become a very bad habit and can easily reduce a tune, rob it of its character, iron out those features which make it unique. Here is a verse of Black Waterside, sung by a Belfast travelling woman.
One morning fair as I rode down by Black Waterside, and looking all around me was an Irish girl I spied. Oh, red and rosy was her cheeks, and a coal black was her hair. All around her waist wore a shawlite gold that my Irish girl did wear.
There, the scooping and sliding of the voice tends to obscure the traditional character of the song, and were it not for the beautiful, hard tone of the voice, we might well imagine that we were listening to a very mannered barroom performer. Now, the following singer has a large repertoire of traditional songs and ballads, all learned in the traditional way from his parents and other members of his family circle. Traditional style, however, is completely absent from his singing. The tone of voice with its vibrato is descended from classical singing. The phrasing with the unnatural pauses between naturally joined syllables is from music hall. The gulping of the mordants and their transformation into sobs is from crooning, and the portamento underlines, as it were, the complete rejection of traditional style and decoration.
Early one morning
away to his comrade. Straight away did he go, saying, "Ra, ra, ra, comrade, let nobody know. If it is a fine morning, and a bathing we'll go."
So, what is a traditional singer? Can a singer be called traditional once he or she has lost the stylistic elements of a tradition? Our definition of folk song has been subject to constant revision during the last few years. Perhaps it's time to redefine what we mean when we talk about the traditional singer. Now, by way of contrast, here is a 23-year-old London revival singer. Sandra Curl and all her songs from books or records. She is a completely urban product. Musical background fairly typical, I would say. Pop music, a little jazz, a little light classical, piano lessons, under protest, and so on. She discovered folk music 3 or 4 years ago, and since that time has made the journey from American folk music to English. She is now part of that small but growing army of dedicated enthusiasts who have apprenticed themselves to a tradition. Here she is singing The Blacksmith.
A blacksmith courted me 9 months and better. He fairly won my heart, wrote me a letter. With his hammer in his hand, he looked so clever. And if I was with my love, I'd live forever. Strange news is come to town, strange news is carried. Strange news flies up and down that my love is married. I wish them both much joy, though they don't hear me. And may God reward him well for slighting of me. What did you promise when you sat beside me? You said you would marry me and not deny me. If I said I'd marry you, it was only for to try you. So bring your witness, love, and I'll never deny you. Oh, witness have I none, save God Almighty, and He'll reward you well for slighting of me. Her lips grew pale and wan, it made her poor heart tremble, to think she loved one, and he proved deceitful.
One could perhaps wish for a somewhat more sinewy tone, but the singing is on the whole excellent, skillfully ornamented and intelligently conceived. A very interesting and original approach to decoration is used by Robert Cinnamond, a splendid singer from County Tyrone in Northern Ireland. Cinnamond eschews the ripple and wave forms of ornamentation used by so many Irish singers, and instead uses isolated ornaments calculated to emphasize the hard, thin, angular, and very dramatic vocal line. His most characteristic form of decoration is produced by hardening, thinning out, and extending beyond normal length all the high notes in a melody. These extended notes are anticipated and sometimes followed by shakes, mordants, pauses, or glottal stops. The pattern created is like a series of high, bare plateaux intersected by steep valleys where dwarf trees, bushes, and clumps of heath accentuate the extreme bareness of the landscape. Robert Cinnamond singing Napoleon Bonaparte.
Attention, pay both you all to few lines that I unfold. It is the day deeds of great Napoleon I'm going to relate. He was a gallant Corsican as ever stood on Europe's land. I'm inclined to sing his praises, so noble though his heart. For didn't every battleman Fodley he strove to gain that victory, and to the world a terror was Napoleon Bonaparte. Ah, that fatal June at Waterloo, it caused Napoleon for to rue. When he saw the tricks of grouchy instructor to his heart, for thereupon that fatal day he was forced to yield or run away. Like a brook soul in Smithfield was Napoleon Bonaparte. Oh, Mary Louisa for him wept day or night, she seldom slept, for she could get no rest or to soothe the aching heart. Where is my emperor, she cries, cursed be the gold that did him bribe. False Grouchy has betrayed brave Napoleon Bonaparte.
Cinnamon's landscape is not only a bare one, it is a place of stillness. The people in it move in slow motion like the characters in a dream. The next singer, on the other hand, conjures up with her style of singing the image of a restless moorland stream, always in motion, running, gliding, falling in short cascades, swirling, eddying, and moving to the sea. She is Mrs. Elizabeth Cronin, a 71-year-old woman with a true blah, that is, the true singing style of County Cork. She uses mordants, often two or more joined together, passing notes, flower-like ornaments, sighing notes, and sudden stops, and all of them combine in a joyful vision of endless motion.
How can I live at the top of the mountain without a gold in my pocket, or money far to come to? I'd leave the money go far to please or fancy, or I'd marry none but the bonny blue-eyed lassie. The bonny blue-eyed lassie with her fair hair so tender, her red rosy cheeks, and her waist neat and slender. I roll in my arms and fondly embrace her, but how can I love her when all my people hate her? Some people say she's a very low in station,
And more of themselves. She's the cause of my ruination. But let them all say what they will, to her I will prove constant still, until the day that I'll die. She is my charming girl, believe me. Brightly swims the swan in the broad streams of Yahweh, and loudly sings the nightingale, all for to behold her. And the calls for frost and snow, the moon shines deeply, but deeper by far between my true love.
And finally, here is a singer to whom ornamentation is a wholly natural part of singing. Paddy Tunney of Letterkenny, Donegal, perhaps the most lyrical of all Irish singers.
With my dog and gone through the blooming heather to seek for pastime, I took my way, where I espied a lovely fair one. Her charms invited me a while to stay. I said, my darling, you will find I love you. Tell me your dwelling and your name also. Excuse my name, and you'll find my dwelling near the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. I said, my darling, if you'll wed a rover, my farm raking I will leave aside. Here is my hand, and I pledge my honor. If you prove constant, I'll make you my bride. If my parents knew that I loved a rover, a great affliction I would undergo. I'll stop at home for another season near the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. Then farewell, darling, for another season. I hope we'll meet in yon woodland vale, and when we meet we'll embrace each other. I'll pay attention to your lovesick tale. It's hand in hand we will join together, and I'll escort you to yon willow, where the linnet sings her sweet notes so pleasing.